Shut up and sit down.
This is Jeremy with the STS Guys, here bringing you a Comic Haul video from our recent adventure at Ace Comic-Con. As I've kind of stated on some of my videos before, like I said, I have kind of a weird obsession. My weird obsession with collecting comic books, one of the weird obsessions is collecting basically #1 issues from the Bronze Age, specifically with Marvel. Like I said, I throw a little DC in there as well every now and again. But I did find a few additional Bronze Age #1 issues to add to my Bronze Age #1 collection that I have going on. So without further ado, here is book #1. So we have basically Marvel Adventure featuring Daredevil. This is actually just reprints of old runs of Daredevil. Nothing special. Like I said, it really isn't a super valuable book. But like I said, it's a Bronze Age #1, so I have to have it. Like I said, Bronze Age #1s. Like I said, I don't know what got me into Bronze Age #1s, but it's one of those things where I've kind of continued to collect them over time. Second book, another #1 is Journey into Mystery. #1, another Bronze Age book here. This is actually the second volume of Journey into Mystery. The very first Journey into Mystery, as everyone knows, involved Thor. So this one is kind of reprinting some of the earlier issues of the original Journey into Mystery, when it was more of like a horror type, suspense type of book. Next one, another #1 from the Bronze Age, this time featuring everyone's favorite apes. From the Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Apes #1, senses-shattering first issue. I don't know how senses-shattering this issue would be, but considering it's almost in perfect condition for the age, and like I said, it's a Bronze Age #1, it had to be part of the collection. Another #1, Human Torch #1. Basically, the old Human Torch and the new Human Torch. There actually is a difference between the two. Like I said, for those of you who don't know, they come together in this issue, and so this is when Human Torch starts his own series. Bronze Age #1, had to have it. Another Bronze Age #1, we have supernatural thrillers featuring It. Not It the Clown or Pennywise the Clown, we have It, the creature that looks like a swamp monster / swamp thing, kind of interesting. From the world famous Chiller by Theodore Sturgeon, I honestly don't know. I have no idea what this title is or what it's about. I'll probably actually even read this one just so I can actually tell. But like I said, it's Bronze Age, it's a #1, had to be part of the collection. Now kind of veering away from my #1 Bronze Ages. I also do collect kind of key issues and first appearances and things like that. So a first appearance that probably has like actually one of my favorite covers, just because the colors are so bright, is War of the Worlds #18. For those of you who don't know, this is actually the first appearance of Killraven. Killraven is kind of an underrated character, big character, kind of back in the mid to late 70s. But like I said, it's awesome. Great condition on this book. Like I said, there's a little tick up here. But other than that, like I said, really, really good. Still bright colors. Glad to have it as part of the collection. Another kind of key issue is Marvel Team Up #53. Number 53 is a key issue for a very specific reason. This is John Byrne, so from X-Men fame, his first basically Marvel artwork. So basically this is his first artwork. That is why this specifically is a key issue. So I have 2 more issues to show you. So rather than going through the continuing with the Marvel train, let's go ahead and actually switch it over to DC. Let's give DC some love. It's not a super valuable issue, but definitely a first appearance. We have the very first appearance of Ragman from his self-titled series, Ragman. Kind of an interesting thing. This is actually, so if you've seen the show Arrow, like I said, Ragman makes his appearance in there. But like I said, first appearance, like I said, Bronze Age issue. Like I said, it had to be part of the collection. So all these books together, I literally probably paid maybe $25 for, because one, no one wants, they said, the early Bronze Age #1, so I actually found them in a bargain bin. So with my entire journey at Ace Comic Con, it's probably the least amount I've spent at a Comic Con in a while. I spent a grand total of $50. So the one big item book that I did buy is a book that, like I said, I've kind of been after this for a while, looking for one in decent condition with a price I was willing to pay. I actually got a really, really good deal on it. Is Forever People #1. Like I said, paid $25 for this book, which I think honestly is a steal for the conditions. There is a slight little bend right there, but other than that, corners are pretty sharp still. Like I said, there's some ink little here at the top, but like I said, the cover's bright. The reason why this is specific, not because the Forever People are really significant in the course of DC history, but this is the actual first appearance of Darkseid. So upcoming villain in the DC universe, extended universe of the movies. Darkseid, however we want to pronounce it. I've heard people pronounce it both ways. Very, very iconic villain throughout DC kind of mythology. It's something that I'm actually happy to have part of the collection. So for now, this is Jeremy from the STS Guys, signing out.